Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another great episode of Spotlight One-on-One. I'm your host, Edess Damis, and today I have the pleasure of welcoming our newest mayor, Manny Figueiredo. Manny, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Edith, and thank you for the great energy you always bring to these wonderful interviews, so thank you.
I'm accompanied by wonderful people, so you guys make it awesome.
Thank you.
So how are we doing today?
We're good, thank you.
Yes? Okay, so let's just dive right into it. So I know you very well, and some of our residents might know you very well as well. However, some may not. So can you give us a little bit of your professional background?
Yeah, that's a long one. It's been a long career. I guess I'll give a variety of things that I've done through life. I guess I'll tell a story. When you go back, you understand things that happened early on in life kind of create who you are today. And I think I was about 8 years old. My parents had bought a second home around the corner. Of course, they're there painting. And of course, I was too little to paint. Don't do that because you're going to mess things up. There was a piano there.
Okay.
I got bored. I opened up the piano. I started doodling. I started punching out Little Mary Had a Little Lamb songs. They looked at me and said, something's going on. So that's the beginning of a certain aspect of my professional career, which was music. So I had lessons. And then at the age of 13, I was like the local Newark phenom, keyboard phenom, accordion, piano, played at events when I was 10, 11, 12. At 13, I was plucked by members of a band that were 30 years old. So I played in a society band when I was 13 with the permission of my father.
Oh, wow.
Of course, they used to pick me up at night, go to do the gig, and then come home.
Wow.
So an education begins there. And I say that because all of these events make you who you are later on. There's an education that you get that's not always in books. And that was an education, being out there, playing to adult people in a society band. In my music career then, of course, I continued my studies, got a degree in music education, but decided not to teach. Then I went on tour with a recording group. We opened for acts such as the original Temptations, which I've got to perform with an opening act with Peaches and Herb and a bunch of other acts. So we were out there, we had a recording, had originals that were out there. This is before the age of Spotify and YouTube. So my kids love one of the songs, but I don't have a good digital version of it. But again, things didn't happen. Then I decided, okay, it's time to grow up. I was like in my late 20s and started selling real estate. So another thing that I did. And then when I got married, I said, it's time to grow up, kid. And I got a job as a teacher, which eventually is what I loved. And I became, ironically, with a music ed degree, I became a pre-algebra teacher. Math was always something I loved, taught for 25 years. My last 3 years right here in Union where I taught what I love, which is music. And there you have it almost. After that, when I retired, I became a member of the Board of Ed here. Actually, before I retired, I became a member of the board, the Union Board of Education. And then people started plucking my brain and said, well, you're making a difference there. Why don't you run for Township Committee? And that was eons ago. This is now my 13th year as a Township Committeeman. And I love it. So that kind of brings me up to here. In the middle of that also with 4 children, all adult children now, and throughout their young lives, did something I never thought I'd do, which is coach, both in Little League, and I coached, I think, soccer for 12 years, which I never thought I did. So there's a lot that has happened, and that's kind of my personal life in a nutshell.
So wait, you're telling me, first off, so versatile. So, from music to teaching to real estate to committeeman to mayor.
Don't tell anyone, though.
That's like a fun fact. But you're telling me I'm sitting next to a celebrity. That's basically what you're telling me.
No, you're sitting next to a husband and a father of 4. And I mean that sincerely because those are the 2 most important titles that I have. And I've learned that in life. Those are the titles that are important. Definitely. We are only the legacy that we leave behind. Definitely. So all those other things that I did, opening acts for all those stars and meeting people and doing that, and even being mayor, none of them are as important as a husband and father. Those stick with me.
Oh, that's amazing. Good to know. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're giving me
Hope my
goosebumps.
wife is hearing this. Thanks.
So let's continue on, because as you said, being a father, being a husband, I can only imagine what these past couple of years have done, not to just your family, but families everywhere, husbands, mothers, siblings everywhere with COVID-19. So as we start 2022 and the year progresses, what do you see the Township of Union looking like dealing with COVID-19, dealing with the pandemic?
This Omicron kind of blindsided us. We thought last year, with vaccines in place, with testing in place, that we kind of had a handle, and all of a sudden we just get blindsided by this Omicron. And we're working on continuing what we've been doing. Look, we set up vaccine events where vaccinations were available through our health department, through Marconi Gappas, and with the help of Bertha Matthews here, setting up some things in Vauxhall for testing and for vaccination. And of course, always with the help of Don and Bill in our administration to set these things up.
Definitely.
Those things were important to get us to where we are today. We continue things like that, the vaccine and the testing, as we move forward, so that we can help people be protected, first of all, with the vaccine and testing as needed if they have symptoms. You know, throughout this time, throughout these past couple of years, the wonderful thing is that we've been able to have a stable budget because many businesses suffered. And I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit about our businesses, but businesses suffered. So we made sure that we were financially stable, because that's so important, without laying off one single township employee and maintaining everyone on salary. We continue to practice good health strategies. For example, during this Omicron, we limited again the access to public buildings for our town hall, things like that. We had staggered staff here at town hall so that people were safe, limiting the exposure to our employees to each other, you know, mandating a mask to walk in. Our building department never suffered through this because we had kind of a good program going where people could drop off their requests for permits and or pick up their permits outside. We have somebody to greet them in the back. So throughout all these things, we've tried to work hard to maintain a normalcy in our business. But most important is to keep our employees safe and to keep all the residents of our township safe.
Definitely, and I think everyone, our residents, our employees definitely appreciate it, from the vaccine clinics like you mentioned, and from just the precautions that we take here at Town Hall. I think we all really do appreciate it.
Well, we keep looking towards our health department and the officials and the federal entities such as the CDC to give us the guidelines that we need to follow in order to remember safe. And that's what our viewers need to understand. We don't just make decisions in the dark here. We make decisions based on data, based on the professionals that are, and again, to their defense, this is such a moving target, this virus, that we didn't know. We didn't expect this Omicron to come and slap us upside the head here and knock us out again, as many people tested positive during that Thanksgiving through post-New Year period. To the point where we had begun in-house township committee meetings already, and we then went back to virtual, including our reorg on January 1st, which normally is a big day. It's an important day for us. It's the start of a new year, and we did that virtually, as we did our MLK Day and things that we've done. And we will continue to stay virtual to stay safe to our township committee and our employees here.
Agreed, agreed. And even though they're virtual, they are amazing programs, let me just say. I was watching them both. Well, I was part of both, but they were amazing programs.
And you did an amazing job, and the staff here at TV 34 just did a phenomenal. When I saw, you know, we all had our little bit parts, and we came in and taped. And when you finally see the finished product, it was amazing. It was amazing, and I think everyone that watched and that saw this program was just amazed by what you all did for that.
Well, thank you. And guys, stay tuned because we're just diving in. We are just diving in. We're getting to know our rock star right here next to me. So we're going to take a quick break, but make sure you tune right back in here on Spotlight One-on-One.
I want you to get the vaccine because I want you to be safe.
I don't want you to be a patient I take care of in the hospital. That's what I'm scared of. I hug you.
Yeah. Love you. Love you too.
Welcome back, everyone, to Spotlight One-on-One. I'm your host, Edess Damis, and along with me today is Mayor Manny Figueiredo. Manny, we left off talking about safety, ensuring safety to our residents. So along with safety, the town has been super resilient when it comes to our small business owners. So what programs or any other opportunities that we're still providing for our small business owners?
Well, during the pandemic, the 2.5 years, it was very difficult for our businesses. Most have survived, and that's been through our help, through the help of grants, loans that have been in existence. You know, we had the American Rescue Small Business Plan that we gave, I want to say almost 900,000 out in loans to our businesses. We had an 85.7% approval rate, and the ones that were not approved is because they didn't fit the parameters or they did not have enough employees. There were reasons for that. So that grant, I think total was 1.25 that we also had through that. We also had still, I think 12 to new applications that are still being looked at now. So the program just closed, but we're still funding through some of those. Through this grant, we continue to mobilize the share of our federal recovery grant money that came through to try to help our businesses. We also began to, you know, especially let's say our restaurants, so people weren't eating. And before that takeout model kind of took over, which it has now, but we started expanding and facilitating an outdoor eating environment. So for those businesses that wanted to, we expedited any needed permits that were needed for them to expand out into a sidewalk or a little bit into a back area where they can create a canopy and an environment with some heaters and have people come and eat. We're starting to see that less and less because then the takeout business took over. And it's to the point right now where even some businesses, the latest that I saw in the New York Times is that there are some businesses that may just go to that model, a takeout only and not an eat-in, because they're realizing it's easier to prepare the food and have someone deliver it than to have staff and maintain an inside dining establishment. So things like that. You know, we continue to provide, as I said earlier, people with permits. Now let's talk about non-restaurant environments. So people that wanted to build or expand projects that we had going. We allowed this process to go through, even though at one point we had this building, our town hall, completely shut down. But because we had a great building department that began to accept these permits that were needed for the expansions, for the buildings of various developments and expansion of businesses going on, they were able to coordinate with those people, meet outside, they bring in their permits, or vice versa, issue the permits there. So through all of that, we were able to continue to start this economic development, not let it die during this. And right now, we're continuing that. You look around, you see the town is blossoming. There are things cropping up throughout town. There are businesses looking to come into town, which is always exciting. You know, when people want to come to your town, not only residents that want to live here, but now you have business owners that want to come into town. You need to walk up and down our center of town through our CID and see the cornucopia of foods that you have available that are still there, that are still serving, and that are available for either delivery or in eating. So we look to continue all of that.
Again, I'll mention how everyone's so appreciative. So one thing I really enjoy about the Township of Union is with the diversity and everything, you'll always see someone reaching out the helping hand. They're always there to reach out, just so we're such a tight-knit community. One helps the other, whether it's a small business owner helping another small business owner, or whether it's a town helping out. And I feel like it brings me such joy seeing everyone helping each other, but I could only imagine those who are in need, our business owners, our residents, helping one another, and it's phenomenal.
And to your point, that emanates from the administration that tries to create, look, you need to follow our ordinances and our laws and our rules and our building codes. But we are here to help expedite you. If you are interested in coming into our town, opening your business, developing something, work within our ordinances and our building codes, and we will try to expedite what you need in order to get you up and running. And we see that happening throughout town.
Definitely, definitely. So speaking of new things coming to town, our recreational events are, I would have to say, top tier in the Township of Union, whether it's Hispanic Heritage or the car show or anything involving our departments. What can you expect for 2022? Any events or any programs that we're having?
You know, look, here we are in winter. It's February, and we're going to hopefully get through what we're getting through now. We're trying to keep anything we're having now still in a virtual format, as we did back in January with the MLK and all that. But as we blossom, and I say blossom not only with spring, but hopefully with this Omicron variant going away and increased vaccination, we look forward to opening up so many things as we get into the April and May. You know, we're talking about inflatables again and food trucks in May, and I'm so excited about that because we're not able to do it to the realm and the bigness that we wanted to last year. Those were always fun. I know my adult children loved going there and sliding down. I looked at them and I said, no, I'm not getting on those things, but they do. So that's always a fun event. You know, we talked about moving forward our summer concert series. We're hoping to continue that, our 4th of July, as we always do. We were fortunate enough to get it in last year. But if now was the summer, we would not have been able to. We would not have been able to assemble safely people in that kind of an environment. So we're looking at things like that and continue. You mentioned the car show. We had just a blossoming car show in October. Phenomenal event, bigger than ever. And I know the administration is looking to expand that even further, if you can even imagine that, you know, because that was huge. So things like that will continue. We had phenomenal Halloween events. It wasn't one, it was a few. And so it was good to get our children out there and feel that spirit of Halloween. Our holiday celebration, wow, you know, our activities here that weekend were just, I came in here and my jaw dropped when I walked in the back of Town Hall and just saw everything that was planned. And I give kudos to our administration for organizing so much of that. And I think our public realized that. What a wonderful event. So we look to expand again on those types of events, getting our people out. You know, we're looking at our parks. We're looking at expanding usage as the weather gets warmer again. We have Rapkin Park, where we have begun already a study, and we're going to go ahead and create a turf field for football, soccer. So it's going to be exciting, and baseball, of course.
Oh, nice.
So the Rams will be able to use that field. It'll be turfed and not be pebbly as it is now, and the soccer players, when they fall, skin their knees, because when I used to coach on that field, it was just horrendous. So we look forward to and that's a large piece of land there to turf. So it's going to be exciting to have that there. At various parks, we have so many. At Hoover Park, we have new playground equipment that's going to be coming in, and this is kind of cool. It's called an expression swing. So it's a swing that you can swing with your child. And I wish they had them 30 years ago when I was swinging with my children. I'd probably have to take Dramamine before from the back and forth. But so things like that. At Joe Collins, we're going to have walking trails. And I want to thank Committeeman people for kind of spearheading and going back there and saying, hey, let's expand the walking trails there. At Volunteer Park, we're going to have new exercise stations that are friendly for seniors, especially those that have limited mobility. I'm getting there,
great.
but we're still, around. At Seychelles Park, we're going to have new playground equipment, and we're going to have a wheelchair accessible playground slide. How cool
That is amazing.
And so these are the kind of things. Weber, which is right on Rawway Avenue, we're going to have a pickleball area. For people that don't know that, look that up. It's kind of cool, pickleball. And we're going to have a bank shot basketball where it's a total mix exclusionary game where wheelchair athletes can compete with people that are not in wheelchairs.
Oh, wow.
And there's no disadvantage. So some exciting things coming up.
That all sounds, it's going to make me want to go back to the park. Back to the park and be a kid again.
It's, again, as we talk about getting our people back outside once the weather warms up, we will work to get these things ready, up and running, so that, as long as weather allows us to and get these additions up there. So there's a lot of exciting things that we have coming up.
Definitely. And I just want to touch on it a little bit. You spoke on weather, and I know I've seen around town the bikes to hold the bikes. What's going on there?
It's kind of cool. We had begun talking about this last year, and because we have to deal with the DOT, because some of the access will be on the state highway, which is Morris Avenue. We're going to have a bike share program, and we're going to have that laid out in various locations throughout town, including the train station,
so helpful.
in the center at Russo Park here, right across the street. So if you've gone to other places and seen bikes in these racks and you wonder, what's that all about? That's what this is all about. You go there, take it, and then you return it to one of the other racks. So it's going to be exciting. Again, another component of getting our people outdoors, getting them back to get some fresh air and some exercise, and that's between the parks and the bike share, we get things going for our residents.
I think that's absolutely amazing, just to have that accessible to you. That's going to be so great. Okay, well, guys, we're going to take another quick break, but don't worry, we'll be right back with Manny and with me. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Spotlight One-on-One. I'm your host, Edess Damis, and again with me is Mayor Manny Figueiredo. Manny, we are just diving into it, aren't we?
Yeah, there's a lot to dive into, too. So I'm glad we're there, and we're talking about a lot of things that I think our viewers, our residents, want to know about.
Exactly. So I think one thing that they're excited about, and maybe you as a pianist, I know you're pretty excited about our public arts opening up in our new library. How exciting is that?
I've got to tell you, that is just amazing. I chaired the Cultural Arts Board, where we're always looking for that little location in the center of town to hold maybe a spoken word, to hold maybe an impromptu art show. This new library will encompass a 125 to 150 seating of a black box type performance area. And right now, that's what we're looking at, so that we can utilize it for a variety of things. It could be a play. It could be maybe a small musical. It can be a spoken word. It can be a variety of things, and you can arrange the room the way you want it. This is going to allow, exactly for a cultural arts board that I was always a proponent of, a place to have in our center an expansion of the arts.
I think that's so cool. Like you said, it could be anything. It could be a comedy show, podcast. I think I'm so excited for that.
You know, we have, our Union High School is an award-winning high school when it comes to the Paper Mill Rising Star Awards.
Really?
Always put on productions that won awards throughout the years. And that was their only venue, that very large venue, that auditorium there. And this will allow many of those young people another outlet, another venue for them to expand on their talents and offer them to our community outside of the academia of a high school situation. So looking forward to that and excited about that, but excited about the library. I mean, we have documents and pictures out there so people can get excited. We're looking any day now to put the boom on the old library for those residents that drive by. See a fence around it already. Our new location where the old Family Dollar was is opening. So it should be up and running any day now. So that's open. Our Vauxhall has continued to be open. So the services will be there throughout the possible 2 to 3 year construction of this facility. But I will tell you, if you look at that and you see what's coming up, it is going to be just a gorgeous addition to the facade of our center. So I am so excited to see that coming in. We're going to have a cafe inside. You know, it's going to be like your little library, nice Barnes & Noble environment. Go in, read a book, get your coffee. Definitely. So there's so many great additions. The art gallery will continue. We'll have an art gallery inside there. So it'll really be a hub for many things. And we're modernizing it. In other words, it still have a classic design, but modernizing it so that we're in an age of information. So electronic means will be available there, computers, things like that. So study areas, meeting rooms, and very open design inside, so you will never feel constricted in that library. Very welcoming. It's an expansion of your living room. Let's kind of put it that way.
That'd be nice.
So we're so excited to see that happen.
Oh man. Well, I know we're running a little bit, but I know there's so many new things opening up, like the senior center as well as opening up. I want to just touch on that a little bit because I have one last question for you. But the senior center opening up, give us a little bit on that.
We're excited about that. We should have a soft opening any day now. And again, because of this pandemic, because of the Omicron, we have not opened it so that the various groups can meet there yet, because we want to keep those youngsters in our town.
Definitely.
Our cherished, aged people, which I am one of them too, you know? We want to keep them safe. But I am excited about hopefully soon allowing them to come in. This new facility is on Broadway Avenue, walking distance to the park if they want to walk. So they are going to have a phenomenal rebuilt facility there, an expanded billiard. Our billiards are big in town. There are some hot shots in town. Let me tell you, I don't want to mess with them. They put down their quarters, you know. So there's an expanded billiard room with brand new pool tables that we've ordered. There's card room, computer room. There's a large meeting room, new kitchen facilities there. It's going to be a great environment for our seniors to be able to meet with each other and congregate and invigorate, because there's been a stagnancy during this time, the pandemic, with our seniors, and my mom is included in that. And it's exciting to hopefully soon have them together in that center.
That is exciting. So last thing I do want to ask, because I'm not too familiar with it, but in the beginning of the year, you definitely mentioned our speed initiative.
Yeah.
Give me a little information on that.
Well, you know, Edess, we've been having problems with speeding, and all of the viewers know when they're out there driving, and it's not just here in town. It's all over. It seems post-pandemic, we found that we can press the pedal to the metal more. Unfortunately, it's causing an increase in accidents, traffic violations, pedestrian issues. We're really going to crack. If you enter Union, beware, beware. You enter Union, this Speed 2022 initiative, we are going to be aggressive.
Definitely.
We will, I don't care if you're a resident or if you're not a resident. If you're going above the speed limit, we're going to ticket you. You are going to be held accountable for your actions. Just understand that there are people crossing the street.
Exactly.
There are children going to school, to and from school, and then you are in a vehicle that can hurt kill, or maim someone. So we will continue. Along with that, there's going to be new speed reading signs on some of our busiest streets to remind people, hey, this is 25, you're going 38, boom, blinking. So speed reading signs. We're going to have new pedestrian signage. This comes not with, and pedestrians need to be careful too. Unfortunately, some people don't stay in the crosswalk, especially as it's dark now earlier. Pedestrians need to be careful. So drivers need to be careful, pedestrians need to be careful when they step out onto that asphalt and cross the street. We're going to be more focused with our enforcements throughout town. When we find hot spots, which we've already begun, you know, we've been hitting some of those big Liberty Avenue, Colonial Ave, start hitting some of those streets that people feel they can drive faster. And here's the backside. We're continuing to make our streets more comfortable for you to drive in. There's one unfortunate thing about that. When you're comfortable and there's no potholes and there's no this, boom, exactly what you just said. So please, we're fixing the streets for all of our residents and visitors to enjoy, but don't let that be, it's not the New Jersey Turnpike. It's not the Garden State Parkway. It's the Township of Union. They're residential streets. Please take your foot off of that pedal. Please look down at that speedometer. And that's what we're asking, and it's beginning to change that mindset. That's what Speed 2022 is about. It's changing the mindset of the driver that comes into town. Be forewarned, you come into town, we're looking for you if you're speeding. Don't speed in our town.
Manny, you have been amazing. I'm going to have to bring you back onto the show because this was just wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Of course. And thank you everyone at home for watching. This has been another phenomenal episode of Spotlight One-on-One, where we get to sit down with some amazing people and shine a little light on them to see how wonderful they benefit our community. Manny, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Edith, my pleasure to be here with you today and to be with all our viewers. Thanks for watching, everybody.
And everyone at home, I'll catch you next time on another episode of Spotlight One-on-One. Take care.